Welcome, everyone, to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host, Matrixlord212, and I'm with Scott. What's up, Scott?
Hello, all.
So this is the review for Planet of Evil, Season 13, Tom Baker's run, the second feature or episode or whatever the heck you called it, because they used to be in parts. Second episode of the 13th season, Planet of Evil. Last we left the Doctor. It was a terror of the Zygons, and they were going to travel in the TARDIS, Sarah and the Doctor, 4 hours, I guess, ahead, right?
Yeah.
But they got a detour, and what happened was there was a distress call way in the future.
Yeah.
Like way in the future, from Zeta Minor, which is like the last, I believe, planet, the furthest out of the universe, right next to the antimatter universe.
Yep.
Like right there.
Which can be accessed by a well.
Yeah, it's part of the Arturo Galaxy or something like that. And this scientist was trying to come up with new forms of energy to restore their dying son.
That's right.
And basically everybody had to leave the area every day because something would attack and kill them, but the professor wanted to continue on with these crystals and everything that he, I guess, was doing stuff with.
Yeah,
and
he's experimenting with these, And
it turns out it's actually antimatter, but the crew started dying off until there was the only person left was the scientist. We learned later on that the scientist survived because he kind of either swallowed the antimatter or something, or experimenting on himself. So he kind of was not afraid to die because he knew that he was connected with whatever the thing is on that planet. And we see the Doctor arrive there, and they see these dead, decomposed bodies. Looks like all the energy was taken from them.
Yeah.
And of course, what happens is
the odd thing is whenever this creature starts to manifest itself, Sarah's oddly is feeling this.
Yeah, they never revealed what that was.
Yeah, they never did.
That's weird.
Yeah, but if you notice, this is similar to the episode of 42. Because no way, shape, and form.
Isn't it interesting when you go back and watch the classic series how you're like, oh, that's where they got that from.
Because they had the sun thing from 42, and then they had the antimatter thing with.
Well, the Doctor always gets blamed with the companion for being the death of these people. They get locked up, they get captured. In this case, he has Sarah to get this instrument in the TARDIS, and she goes in there, and then the shuttle arrives, and they trap her in the TARDIS, and they beam her up, or whatever they do. And then she's a captive of them. Then they capture the Doctor. They're immediately blaming him. The scientist has an ego. He's never wrong. Nobody likes it that somebody else comes around that's smarter than them. And then you've got to see really the stupidity of these people that are humanoids, not necessarily from Earth, but from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And it's like always like egos. Like the guy that's the main commander, he's made to look a fool, that it's not the Doctor that's doing this, it's not this, but he doesn't like that, and he gets to look like an idiot. So he has to be, he don't care if he's wrong, he wants to kill the Doctor.
Because he feels he's the reason for these of his officers' deaths.
Yeah, the guy gets manipulated by Professor Sorensen. He's like, oh, he's a Doctor. Look, his vehicle is taking the energy. So basically, the scientist goes aboard the ship. He has antimatter. They try to pull away. They can't pull away because you find out that the antimatter doesn't want to part with part of what's connected to it. Doctor goes, long story short, the Doctor goes down to the planet. He falls in the pit. He gets to communicate with the antimatter creature, and he finds out, yes, that's why they're not leaving. He promises to bring all the antimatter back.
It's portion of the planet.
He promises to bring the antimatter back, and then the guy don't listen to him, the head guy, and they keep like Sarah and the Doctor escape, and they keep escaping, and then every time it turns around, they're with a dead body, and it's like, oh, it's your fault. The guy gets fed up. He's like, I'm gonna just eject him into space because I don't care. The Doctor saved him. He saved him the first time. But then you turn out
but
that
by this time, Thorson, if I remember right, had turned fully into that antimatter.
He starts turning. It looks like a werewolf creature.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first his eyes are glowing. Then he looks like a werewolf creature. But all on the planet, you've seen the antimatter creature that was killing them. You've seen this antimatter creature that was killing them. Then on the ship, that you see something's killing them. And it turns out the professor's killing them. He's got the glowing eyes. He's drinking some type of thing that basically pushes it back. So it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type of thing. Also like 42. And finally, he starts becoming looks like a creature with fangs, like a beast man, a werewolf. They call him Anti-Man, meaning antimatter man.
Yeah.
Then he becomes just purely he gets zapped, like the head guy, zaps him with this thing that makes him more powerful to split into other different antimatter creatures. But basically, the whole thing is that the doctor just should have met with the Brigadier 4 hours ahead, but he wanted to see, and the people died already that made the distress call originally. So now he has to save the ship from getting destroyed by smashing into the planet. And they bring everything back to the planet with the exception of he has a piece, the doctor, and the other guy. So they take the doctor's piece, they send it down there, but then the scientist still has the freaking canister.
Yeah, which is containing all those antimatter pieces, those gems or
Yeah, and what happens is the doctor grabs him, brings him in the TARDIS, grabs the antimatter piece, goes back there, and the creature's trying to break free in the TARDIS, trying to choke him. He tricks him into there, falls into the pit. I guess because the doctor was genuine with his deal, the creature allows the guy to be free. Yeah, even though he killed all these people.
And says, it tells him about this other type of energy source you can possibly utilize.
Yeah, he kind of tricks him. He's like, oh, yeah, you were thinking of this other energy source that pull away energy from a planet that could create a thing for the sun. Oh, I did? Oh, yeah. So it's like, he basically, but the whole point is that he killed all these people, but he wasn't in a League of the Senses because of the antimatter creature or whatever possession that took over him. I did like the main commander that was a jerk. I thought that if he would have been saved, that would have been cool. But the older gentleman who was like the first in command, you start to see maybe the company just put that guy there in first command because this guy was a hothead.
Yeah.
So and nobody objected when he went to take control.
It's similar to Colony in Space and all.
People just get hotheads, and this guy wound up dying because of it, and a lot of people died. But it was a really good episode. I never have a problem with except for Leisure Hive. I don't like that, but I never had a problem with Tom Baker's episodes, and not him directly.
It's just the way they did the episodes.
Yeah, but I think the episode's great. And the special effects. Now here's the thing: I'm surprised that they didn't have a connection to Omega because Omega's from the antimatter universe.
Yeah,
they could have easily pieced it together. Maybe this writer
didn't watch some sort of little
that Omega is connected with the antimatter universe. Still,
that would have been interesting to see.
Because technically he is. I mean, since the Three Doctors, he's in the antimatter universe. So maybe this writer didn't watch that episode or read it. They didn't have to. And he didn't know.
Or they just wanted this to be like one of these episodes. Okay, we already used
because the same effect was the creature from the Three Doctors.
Yeah.
So the anti-effect.
Yeah, that whole little energy force, which I thought was awesome.
So you could have had an underlying plot that every time they came across something with antimatter, it was Omega trying to basically go after the Doctor.
Yeah.
They could have. But they didn't say anything about Omega or nothing like that. And, or Omega, whatever way you say it, Omega.
I always refer to as Omega because that's how they did it in the series, is Omega.
Yeah. So, again, Sarah, she's really smart in this, though. She tells them, we can get out. Look, the window.
This is another case of where the original series wrote a strong character, if you think about it. And then that's what the original series, I think, has over this over the updated series, is because they had so many strong characters.
She was a strong female character, Sarah Jane Smith.
Yeah. Yes, Liz, they wrote her off pretty much because they didn't want her technically overshadowing the Doctor.
Right.
But then Jo, yes, she was strong, but they wrote her up.
Right.
Sarah, they wrote her to be automatically strong, and then you learn later on she's the child of somebody from the military. Then you had Romana, who they wrote as a strong one. Yes, Leela. Let's not forget Leela.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Romana, because she was a fellow Time Lord.
Yeah.
But that's what they did. I think they did a great job in the original.
I think she did a great job.
Character types.
Sarah Jane was really strong, and the fact that when he heard she was in danger and like in different things, he would run to her, or he punched the guy in the face, like knocked him, pop, like he didn't care. Sarah's in trouble, pop the guy right in the face. I love that. Like Tom Baker's great, you know. It's like, and then certain points, like when the guy's like, "We're gonna torture you," he's not even afraid. He's like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Like, "Oh, what are you gonna do to me that hasn't been done?" Right? He's got a death wish, like the doctor. Where he's like, "Yeah." She's like, "Doctor." He's like, you know. It's hysterical. I love his doctor. He's the best. So, Planet of Evil. Another good one. Another one. So, all right. That's going to be it for tonight. For now, until later. Thank you, Scott.
You're welcome.
Take care. Bye for now.